Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you. Thank you. And I would like to welcome, please welcome to me the registrar for his welcome address. The registrar, sir, Mr. Damini.
Standing on the existing protocol, it is my singular honor and privilege to welcome you all to the 9th annual Registry lecture holding today, Wednesday, 25th May 2025. I am indeed honored to welcome our distinguished guest lecturer of today, Professor Omolola Iloye, Vice Chancellor at Chivas University. Despite her attached schedule, has accepted to come personally to deliver the 9th annual lecture titled Vision, Management and Compromise, Elixir for Successful University Administration. The topic of today's lecture is germane to effective university administration, and I am confident that our distinguished guest lecturer, Professor Omolola Iloye, a seasoned university administrator, will do justice to the topic. No doubt, the lecture will build the capacity of registry staff, and for this, we are very grateful. Your name will be written in gold in the annals of Best Best of Technology Portal. Thank you, ma'am. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me at this juncture to express our profound appreciation to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Oludele, for providing the environment for this lecture to hold. Your great support to the Registry Department is well acknowledged and appreciated. I will also thank you immensely for providing us a befitting new registry building. The comfort of the new registry is unparalleled, and the motivation to continue to put in our best. Thank you, sir. I also identify and appreciate the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Akunlaya Oboko, the Bossa, Mr. Shina Adekodu, the University Librarian, Dr. Felicia Yusuf, for their great support. I thank all these of colleges, directors, heads of department and professors, and all staff for honoring us with their esteemed presence at this occasion. I congratulate the entire registry staff on this occasion of our 9th registry lecture, and I thank you all for your great support and commitment to the vision and mission of the registry. I also commend the organizing committee for a job well done. Your commitment to ensuring a befitting registry lecture is well acknowledged and appreciated. I express my profound appreciation to all those who have supported us financially and morally towards the success of this program. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I once again welcome you and thank you for coming to honor us with your presence. Thank you for your attention.
Please let us sustain the applause. Thank you very much, sir. And the next in line, we're going to call our esteemed Vice Chancellor, in person of Professor Jeremiah Oludele or General, for his good message. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Any committee to also stand in the very well established protocol by the giants in the house. The personal assistant, the vice chancellor. Let me start on the lighter note. There's some months ago, about a year ago. This year, the SPA went for an event. Then they wanted to collect some money from us. So they were looking for the VC. I passed through and I said, so I passed through and it was picked up. It looked more like the vice chancellor in size. So sometimes you go to the small yourself, you can escape. While the big was, you escape. Distinguished gentlemen, let me warmly welcome one and all to the 9th annual lecture of the Registry of Bells University of Technology, the first private university of technology in this country. Thank you. This university is 20th year. Our guest lecturer, we are coming at a time when we are celebrating our 20th anniversary. So we think that your lecture of today will move us into the 21st year and to be another year for us, such that we'll be able to even move forward. In these 20 years, the university has achieved quite a lot, and God has moved us from one pedestal to the other. By November, we shall be fully celebrating the 20th anniversary as well as the 17th convocation ceremony. The chairman of the Governance Committee wants to thank you for putting this in place to ensure that this 20th year celebration will be different from every other. For this lecture, let me note and put on note also that the university system, that is particularly the registry, is the arm that services the various organs and keep the records and traditions of our institution. The registry is and should be the engine room of university governance and management, and also the custodian of our statutes, symbols, and assets. Every database should be in the registry. Therefore, we can call them the grand networker of the university. The registry is headed by the registrar and secretary to council, who leads the registry and moves it forward. The registry, therefore, is an essential department or unit in the administration of the university. The Vice Chancellor's office depends very much on them to provide information at different fora. It is therefore pertinent to appreciate the University Registry for hosting the 9th annual registry lecture, which addresses a very challenging topic. Mrs. Vice Chancellor, I am interested in this topic because of what I have spoken and to the ground to know exactly how you key this into the vision and management of the university. For success of this university, of the universities at large, the Vice Chancellor must make compromises, must work for the betterment of everyone, and must work to move the university forward. Because the Vice Chancellor has a focus, he must put everybody on, sometimes compromising his stance. Today, the title of our lecture is Vision, Management, and Compromise, an Elixir for a successful university administrator. Kindly clap for us for bringing up that topic. That topic is very apt and very relevant. The issues surrounding vision, management, and compromise are germane to the existential relevance of anyone in administration, especially if they desire to make positive impact and also succeed. You must carry everyone along. You must ensure that the management and administration are relevant. In that case, the word compromise sinks very well to that. The combination of these variables to the success of an administrator creates virtually a magical order geared towards perfection and excellence of execution. And therefore, like I said earlier, all ears to the ground, and I'm open to drink the wealth of experience of our guest lecturer, the Vice Chancellor of Achievers University, or in Ondo State, Professor Omolola Oladoni Nyoni. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you for coming here.
In our list, and I'd like to point out 5 of them before we go to the citation. The first one is the most notable registry staff in Girls University. That is the person of Miss Eniola Shodibe. Please sustain the applause for us, please. And also, we have the most quiet in the registry, in person of Mr. Odunayo, Engineering Department. Mr. Odunayo. And also we have, please clap for them, please. And also we have the most punctual. That is the person of Mr. Pelumi Aremu. And also we have, for the last time, we have most sticker to rules, Mrs. Oyi Aderoba. Please sustain the applause for them, please. Mrs. Oyi Aderoba. All right. And also we have the most smiley face of bells. Please, who could that be? Can anyone guess? Please, I want you to echo it. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Oluyede. So we're going to move from there to the program. So we are going to the citation of the guest lecturer, which is going to be anchored by Mrs. Omolola Adebi.
You did not know that very well. Yes. She's the namesake of the guest lecturer. Yes, her name is Mrs. Omolola Oladoni Adibi, who is next speaker today. Keep clapping for her.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, ma'am, for standing up already. Like you said, my name is Omolola Oladoke Adebi, sharing the same name with the guest lecturer. Now, I would like to invite you to the podium. Professor Oladuni Yerioyi started her nursing career, education from School of Nursing, University College Hospital, Ibadan, and proceeded to the University of Ibadan. Was given the fellowship of the Occupational Safety Society of Nigeria. Our guest lecturer today has won some research grants over the years, and some of them include the Visiting Researchers Grant of the Medical Research Council of South Africa in 2002, Council for the Development of Social Science Research in Africa, small grant for thesis writing in 2004, the HIV Research Growth Grant UK in 2004, assessor, examiner, and facilitators in developing and upgrading curriculum and programs. In recognition of outstanding qualities academically, Professor Yerioyi was appointed acting Vice Chancellor of Achievers University, Owo, in January 2023. She became the substantive Vice Chancellor through a competitive process in 2024 to become the first Professor of Nursing to be a Vice Chancellor in Nigeria. She has contributed significantly to the growth of the university in all areas of university administration since she took over. All units of the university has continued to have empowering programs for quality work, output, and productivity. She has seen the significant increase in the number of programs accredited, with about 10 additional programs added within 2 years of coming on board for different colleges. The cooperation of the Governing Council under the chairmanship of Professor Bode Ayoride, empowering staff retreat for all staff, both academic, both teaching and non-teaching staff, have become an annual event with experts invited to have engaging sessions with hands-on practice during such retreats. Regular capacity building program for staff focusing on quality improvement in academic and administrative output, increasing output on welfare, global community systems, moving the last ceiling and encouraging all to be higher. She's an epitome of the can-do spirit and barrier breaking. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone's celebrating afternoon, and I present to you our guest lecturer for the 9th Registry Annual Lecture, Professor Elixir.
It's nice to come here and have another sister. That's almost on my name. I owe my father, he goes on there. The first chancellor. It's very nice to come, to stay away from the end of town. I want to remain of where I live. The vice chancellor, the deputy vice chancellor, the registrar, the bursar, the librarian. I can see all the senior people in front, professors, senior management staff, and all of us that are important to running the university. If they are not important, you wouldn't be here. Anybody that you find in your company is important to achieve success. If your office is dirty, there is no way you can function. If electricity is not available, and that person in the works that is supposed to make sure that the generator functions, if the person fails to do what he or she has to do, we will not make progress. So can we clap ourselves? Everybody is important. And until when you see yourself in that light, what we want to discuss, and we also already have beyond meeting. That I will have us as a team, and each person to go back and work on what we're talking about. Without you, perhaps we will not get to our purpose now. And it is important that we see ourselves in that light. The vice chancellor may not be able to tell you whether the governing council wants the class to get to. Without you, being part of the whole talking about. And that's why, for me, when I saw the title, I felt that forget the God of business. an important topic that everybody must have an understanding of the context. And like the Chancellor said, when I said the compromise, you know when you want to hear the word compromise, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? No answer me now. What comes to your mind? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. When you hear compromise, what comes to your mind is what to today. They are compromising everything. We were talking about fraud. We were talking about fraud. We were talking about death. There is one part of the word compromise. And it is important for all of us in the university to have a correct understanding of the word compromise in the governance of the university system. There is one of your staff that was poached when he was coming to Africa's university, who is currently offices, the academic planning team, Mr. Director. And I'm Mrs. I got that to yesterday. The world is a very small place. And wherever you are, please do your best. Because you don't know what the future has to stay. We currently have other models. These are the programs. We have about 38 programs. I can gather the these are the programs. We have about 10. We also offer flexible academic program, bearing in mind that many workers are doing their work and they will continue to do this. We have another institute. I saw the Ambassador's Institute on the internship, and I think that will apply so that at least as an employer of this major town that is to what I'm doing. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. Yes, so why are we here? Why are we here to talk about this? Why? Because we are a 21st century university. The university of today is different from the university when I was in the university. The university of today is different from when you were in the university. And that is to the fact that even the students that you have today are very different from who you were when you were in school. So we have many demands. The mandate of the university is changing. And challenges also kicking in this. And I was sensitive to all of this as for us to also appreciate why we must work within our vision, why our management was responsive, not only looking at the vision, but also was looking at how we navigate the new demands, the new mandates, the new challenges, how do we manage the new generations of students to still achieve what is the best for the future of the world. I'm sure you know that I am not moving anybody for Nigeria. Are you aware of that? Are you aware? I need you to be answering you. I don't want anybody to speak. In 30, 45 minutes that we are, we must have an engaging interaction. So we look at the 21st century, what is our mandate? What are the challenges that we have to contend? And it is within this context that we will look at the core concepts that we are talking about, the vision, mandate, and compromise. And previously I said the vision is our purpose. That's the first thing that gives you an idea of where are we going. Where are we going? And that's why I said, what is your own vision? Because when you want to take up a job anywhere, it is important that you look at your vision and see if your vision aligns with the vision of the organization, so that you don't begin to run into trouble from the very moment you take up the job. Your own vision must be aligned with the vision of the organization where you want to work. And since we say the vision is the compass, we want to look at how does it govern compass management, because whatever your vision is, if you don't work on the top, and you are not going to get to you say you want to do. Yes, you want to do it. But if you don't know how far you want to get there, the vision will remain in the paper for years. And then I look at how to compromise. And from the way I think I talk of compromise, already since our own position. The compromise is not necessarily the negative way people always think about that. Compromise is always a bridge to achieving progress. So we now see how do we do it in the university that we can achieve progress. And all of us know that understanding, we are not going to make successes of why we are here. We will conclude. I said universities, or let me just use the word university, because university implies university, wherever you get education. And it becomes important even for you to relearn who these people are and how can you get the best of them for you to achieve what you want to achieve. So the university requires learning. And because you are supposed to be facilitating learning, you must ensure that your activities cover the different categories of different people who will need you to part of your lifelong learning. Your distance learning program was taken care of the 70-year-old, the 60, the 50, everybody that can work with this. At the same time, prepare the young people even for the work of tomorrow for the future. And that is a lot of challenges that you must work around. We're supposed to innovate. If you are not innovative, you are going to be left behind. If you don't key into the 21st century world, where people are already proposing to giving back in the laboratory, people are already proposing that you don't need women to have children. I hope we will run into crisis. Because when you give back to children that are born in the laboratory, whatever comes out of it, you may have to live with it. And I'm talking about, we still must work to be part of the world. Because we are not sufficiently creative to survive. Imagine what is happening between Israel and Iran now. And imagine what is happening even in this small area that we are talking about. Because we are here, we may not know how things are in the northeast, in the north central, in the northwest. Then we must also be thinking through how all these things are involved for us to start thinking of what innovations we have to bring. And if there are certain things that is the all of innovation, it is the university. Because it is the university that generates knowledge. We are the one that talks about how you use knowledge to achieve what. So we have the mandate of innovation. Societal challenges, we are supposed to solve problems. People expect you that whatever challenges that apply all over the society, you must provide answers to them. Again, we are also supposed to be part of all the technological advancements, developing, using, evaluating, and also seeing which one you want to remove, which one you want to adapt. 21st century skills. If you are in a university now, and you are not technologically versatile, you are in the university now, you cannot use technology to train the young people. Your classes, many of the students were attending the class, but they were just attending because it was smart attendance. Right? They were attending because it was smart attendance, but obviously they will listen to you, and if they tend to listen to you, they are already chatting among themselves about you still need the notes that they gave to me 50 years ago. And I don't go to class now, and I'm teaching you what teaching. The way you were taught. You can come here and administrator now, and you will not be able to use many of the software that you are expected to use to run. Additional processes now are automated, but the automated does not mean that you should not be versatile as an administrator to ensure that you don't have people that do not have like crashing into your programs or crashing into your environment. And you know, because the current generation are also very technology smart, there's also they cannot have people. So if you are supposed to be in charge of collecting data, managing our data, and helping us to use data, then it is that you also as an administrator must be as versatile as anybody for you to relate to both students and staff that are supposed also to manage. Multi-mission management. Yes, there is nobody that was doing one thing. Even as a university, the multiple collaborating, and we are in the world of diversity. Beyond diversity in Nigeria, many things now, we have to bring them on board. People talk of inclusivity. You must be talking about bringing people from diverse backgrounds. You must be internationalizing as an institution. You must be thinking of people with disability. There are several things that you will not bring on board when you're thinking about university. Yes, we have this ever-increasing mandate. The more the mandate, the more challenges that we must contain. Therefore, we always tell people that when you see challenges as challenges, they create opportunities. They provide opportunities for you to become innovative. And they also provide opportunities for you to think out of the box. We must ever be thinking out of the box as university people. What are the challenges? Political pressure. And I don't think political pressure is about JPC and PBT the best. You also will be spending money. As new universities are coming on board, they are also trying to get a role. So we will see them also giving fees that will encourage many people to come. So we must be on top of looking at thoughts of all these things. Institutional programs and algorithms have become common in private universities, and that is one of the reasons why we are making a lot of progress in the country. Mass migration and fight of experienced human resources. I don't know how bad this is stated, but for those of us that are in the health professions, you know we are very challenging in our hands now because many of the human resources that we are supposed to rely on to run our institutions, almost everybody is out. And even the government ones that you say they are good, before they finish, they already completed their flight. So human resource challenge will continue to be a problem. And let me tell you also another big challenge for all universities to take teaching and government. Can we pay compared to what they will earn if they go to the university? So human resource body for every university is a realistic thing that you always have to contend with. Because if you don't pay the highly people that are well experienced, people that are supposed to be managing universities well, you may not actually take many people that you want to take. Institutional, I've talked about that. Whether you like it or not, you must think about it as an institution. Because you don't just want to put it in the trash. So you must always be looking at what are they looking at, and how should we move to ensure that we are part of how the world is growing. National and international ratings of institutions, shifting expectations and demands, contradictions among multiple generations, and several others that also have to do with adapting whatever we are doing to suit ever-changing society. Ever-changing society. What are the universities are supposed to be thinking about how things should move, what should happen, what should not happen. Now let's look at how do we have history? How do we have history now? How do they develop the issue of interest for us? Already we said that the first university is dynamic, and it is evolving. Is dynamic to an extent that we must respond to all the mandates that are identified at the level, and we must keep evolving for us to be able to fulfill the mandate. We must be engaging the world, not only working within ourselves and thinking that because we are inside there, because when you are inside there, you are not part of the reality. I told the list that when I was coming here, looking at the road, I said, God, how do people around here? How do they, the people in there, they go out at all? the environment. So when we're talking about the world around us, and remember, the world around you is not only Lagos, it's not only Nigeria, it's about the whole world. And because the whole world has become a global village, you cannot just be doing things, you should be doing things your own way. You must be doing things and talking about best practice. Before you do anything, first of all, now you know how that has got more problematic. Before you do anything, you must first of all go around and say, what is this one say? What does this one say? Before you now say, okay, now let's look at activities out best and to do that at our situation. So when in a world that is also challenging us not to relax, but for us to be very active, to be relevant. It's not just a case of enemy. If you are to be a teacher and better, actually when you are attending your class and you use NMC, you cannot even rely on NMC content because it was teaching things that will make students to be globally competitive. We have done a lot of innovation and we want to be partnering for the development of the society, of the community, and we want to drive innovation. So for us as a university, the of innovation, we must partner for community development, and we want to drive our society. So our role goes beyond teaching and learning. Our role must collaborate. We must collaborate with industries to advance the society. We also must work with government and non-governmental agencies. We must work with non-governmental agencies. Also because the people that we are building for the future also have relevances in all these areas. And our goal is non-limited vision to address these local and global applications that we have. So the core concept, digital management and common practices. I want to give some definitions today, simple definitions that are helpful. And I said vision is a clear, concise, and transparent statement that reflects the best and the best delivery. Because if we not get that level of saying that you must have a vision that you are working towards. If you don't have a vision, there is no way we're going to get you to understand the context of the vision and also to encourage you to align your personal vision with our own vision so that we can grow together. So vision looks at the person's and organization's values, the intended purpose, and the desired future. What are our values? What are we trying to achieve? What future do we foresee? So what future do you foresee for yourself? And if you don't have a future that you foresee for yourself, you cannot plan for it. If you're going to plan for it, your plan must align with our own plan. So that you will not be working at compromise involves negotiating and making concessions to reach decisions that must strategically pay attention to equity in an attempt to satisfy all parties. That is where the government is. We have multiple people that are coming with different demands, different expectations, but except we are able to negotiate and we all can be in agreement and have consensus to be able to go to where we want to get to, we will not make mistakes. And oftentimes, because we have diverse orientation, diverse needs, if we do not compromise, if we do not agree, we are going to be working in contrast of what we should do. Now, let's look at vision. I took each of the concepts again for us to look at the purpose. The vision of the university provides the leading light and the cornerstone for effective leadership and followership. You cannot have leadership without followership. Leadership and followership must be in an agreement. And to do that, you all must be saying the same thing. Our vision gives us this clear 4 forward-thinking and contextual vision that guides every other thing that we are supposed to do as an institution. If you are going to grow as an institution, all of us must believe in that and must agree to work together to achieve that goal. If your neighbor is sleeping, wake them up. Because they didn't come here to come and sleep. I don't want to become a teacher when I'm doing something that I can do that. If you have a neighbor that is sleeping, wake that person up. So, as a university, the vision is a compelling picture of a desired future state. If you can envision something, you can walk towards it. But if you cannot close your eyes and envision where you want to be, it is going to be quite difficult for you to map out plans to say, this is our way. And you see that our compass pointed to that word vision. The university vision is aligned academic, cultural, societal goals. It was like strategic priorities. Our vision was our policies. Our vision was guided to what is our culture. What will become the university culture? And all of us must believe in that culture and work towards sustaining that culture. Our vision was to foster academic excellence, was to foster innovation, and it also was to foster social impact. So now, we tell everybody now, it's not just enough to say I'm doing research. What is your research contributing to the society? And we must start from our immediate environment. Whatever research you want to do, you must tell us what to take an impact. If we are here as a hub of knowledge, how can we get our research to speak to our needs? And like I said, thinking trust includes insurance journalistic, and it must respond to local and global challenges. And it should motivate stakeholders. We are all stakeholders in the university environment. Now, when we have a vision, it's one thing to have a vision. It's another thing to have all of us that are here to key into the vision. All the time, we always say our vision was simple enough for anybody to understand. It was precise. For anybody to quickly remember that these decisions are like formulas. But if you craft your vision and it is not adequately communicated, it's going to be difficult for anybody to keep what they do not know. And I'm sure all of us here, if I do a quick test, and I take my microphone to somebody and say, what is the vision of best university of technology? Everybody must be able not only to say this is our vision, but they also must be able to actually speak to it and see how you become relevant in achieving the vision. And that's one of the reasons why we are here. That's one of the reasons why it should be possible, all of us should be talking about this, so that we can reflect. And when I said we are all important to achieving our vision, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because in your little table, if you fail to do what you're supposed to do, you are compromising. No, you are bringing another to what compromise. Because that will be negative. If you cannot do what you're supposed to do on your table, there's something that is to your table that you're supposed to respond to within 24 hours, and it takes you 72 hours. You are taking the university back for 72 hours. And imagine if all of us here takes the university back 72 hours. When we add it together, I got the year. Yes. You know, you will be stressed. You know, you will be selling market for punch. Right? For all the social media, they are ever looking for where they will be trouble. So it is important that you know that you are not a local person. When you Care is not a local institution, and by inference, whoever you are, wherever you are not supposed to be functioning as a local person. It is important for you to know that who really am I in a position that I am, as for me to actually make this university to the world through environmentally friendly technology and innovations. Another implementation, several things that I say we need to do to achieve this, one of which is what we are doing now. And the outcomes up to 2025 is the recognition of innovative grants, global promotions, despite funding limitations. No matter how much money you get as a university, you never get it enough because of your activities and whatever you want to do. Management, on the other hand, that I say is working the top. The top is what you are putting in your vision. But if you don't work that top, you are not going to make the desired progress. Management is what the process of planning, analyzing, thinking, and controlling. And I like that's one of your gifts that I gave to somebody. That person that I was sent to give that is the number another person. What is the name of the award? Thank you. You know what I have is sticker to you that says one whole word in management that I talk to say about controlling. If you leave everybody to do their own way, and we do not have policies, we do not have guidelines, we do not have laws, the tendency for human being to want is always there, no matter who you are. Then we must have regulations, we must have guidelines, and all of us must be aware of those things as for us to use, and that's where the legacy becomes the art. What do I call the legacy? The art of the university. If you do not know who you are, you may be behaving one kind, but now I don't know who you are. If you are supposed to be collecting records, if you do not collect correct records, you will need to use your wrong records to make decisions. And decisions that are made from wrong records obviously can never cause the best result. You are supposed to be keeping records. Every time I call for somebody's file from the office, I always want this conviction that when I get that file, I have all answers. I can take my decisions. The one that I get the file and half of what is being in the file are not there. That's what I'm going to be able to make good decisions. That is receiving letter and is filing is a very important component of the registry and must have an understanding of how important he or she is. So when I get to anybody's table and I see files that are full, and the clerk says, hey, I'm tired, hey, I don't say that, God, we are in trouble. What this person don't know the importance of who he is in the context of how the university runs. Are we together? So the registry is the act and a very important part of getting the university to be successful. If you have challenges with the administrators, with everybody that is part of running the university, we cannot run, we cannot make progress, and we will always be making wrong decisions. Are we together? So, management involves that, and there are two approaches. I'm sure you will have heard of transformational leadership, and transactional leadership, right? Have you heard about this before? Yes, you will need to go and read about it because you must use both at whatever level you are. If you are the head of a unit to achieve whatever you're supposed to achieve. So what are these talking about? Transformational management uses inspiration, innovation, shared vision. The people in your unit must share the same ideals with you. You must share the same values. You must be in agreement in terms of who you are as a unit, what you do want to do, and how you want to do it. The transactional approach is the one that enables us to sanction people that will not do what they are supposed to do. At the point of coming in, you got your letter of appointment, isn't it? That says you have been employed as this. And it describes who you are, what you are supposed to be doing, how you are supposed to do it. You are supposed to come to work 9 a.m., close at 5 p.m., right? Monday to Friday. And we can ask you to come any other day as the need arises. We always do that one. If you decide to come for 3 days out of the 5 days, are you breaking our agreement or not? Are you breaking it or not? So there's always that point that must be part of our engagement and interaction for us to be a success of what we have to do. So the transactional approach ensures operational efficiency and productivity. If you are too good to an extent that you cannot get the policies, the guidelines, the laws of the university to function, the university will not make progress. If you are too good on your table and you have colleagues that cannot do what they're supposed to do and you are abhorring them, you are an accomplice to not helping us to grow. So a blend of both, combining driven inspiration with execution, is what is most desirable for successful administration of the university. If we look at the two, there are 4 characteristics for the transformational leader, and there are 3 for the person that is also adopting the transactional leadership approach. The transformational leader provides leadership, and she leads, presenting himself or herself as a role model. People can see that person and say, this is the way this person does this thing. I also would like to be like this. If you are somebody that says one thing and do the opposite, you cannot take the institution forward. You cannot. Every other person working with you will walk along with you with the pace, with the approach, with the method that you are presenting. If you are a sincere head of unit and people can walk in and walk out when they like, you are not helping the institution. And if you have somebody that is consistently breaking laws and you are not able to regulate that person, you are helping the university to fail. And we do not want to fail. We are inspirational. We also do what we call intellectual stimulation. We encourage creativity. There are times your boss will say, go and make me a memo. There are times I ask some people who never expect that we ask them to do something. I say, go and do this. It may take some time, person to bring the first assignment. But you have challenged that person to know that you can't just be swimming in and swimming out without thinking. Everybody now must be active, must be thinking, especially with the kinds of students that we have. Generation Z, the Generation Z, if you have them as children at home, you must be on your toes. Because you have paid for them to be on your toes when you send them to school. The school that you send every child to now, what they learn is they must ask why of everything. Isn't it? Unlike when you were growing up, if your mother says something, you dare not ask why. Right? But now, so if you ask them to do anything, they will ask you why. So when they come in to your admission office And you say, go and do this, and they begin to say, why must I give you 4 passports? It's not that they are rude. That is the way, that's the way the world is going. So if you are somebody that is temperamental, that has that notion of, I'm not going to sit here again, you know they have their phone. Before they leave you, they already reach out their colleagues. That this person is a terrible human being, is very oppressive, does not want to help. And you know, the moment one person carries this wrong information to the social media, you are in trouble. Right? So, we're talking about all of us must be thinking out of the box in the context of being, even while we are transformational, we are also conscious of how we should run our transactional relationship with staff and with Generation Z in ways that our name as an institution will always come out as the best. Because your students are the best advert that you can get. Right? No matter the advertisement that you do, your students are your best adverts. Right? So, transactional management ensures that we have clear structure. The reason why we have registry, we have exams and records, we have personnel, it's because we must put structure so that we know who are we holding accountable for what. Right? And the moment we put structures to it, we must define rules. We must know who is supposed to be doing what. If I have issues with transcripts and I call you, you must be able to tell me how many transcripts you have sent in the last 1 week. Right? And where did they go to? So that I can answer any question that is coming. But if we do not have structures, we do not have rules, I'm not going to call the registrar. Even if I call the registrar knows who to call. Are we together? So, the transactional dimension is not supposed to be purity. It's supposed to be something that helps us to achieve effective management. And as it goes, you always have rewards for performance and what? Punishment for non-performance. So there will always be penalty. Most of the time, we don't want to use penalty because if we go together, if we're in agreement, if we share the same vision, all of us will be working towards achieving success. But at critical times, we must also use penalty because we will always have human beings that there are some people who naturally want to break the law to even see what will they do. And when you try us, you will see that we can do many things, including asking you to go with 1 month notice. Right? We can ask you to go. We can decide to pay you off. There are many people, when they get paid off like that, never remember that wherever you are taking up another job, they will ask you where you are coming from. They will always ask, where are you coming from? What happened? And if they call, and your previous workplace refuses to answer, they understand. Right? They understand. If you bring somebody else who you knew 15 years ago, we understand. Right? Because if you are asking your teacher of primary school or secondary school to give you reference, when last did that person relate to you? You are a changed and a different person. So if that person sends us reference and we don't see somebody current, somebody recent, we understand. So we'll be looking at, even if we take you on board, if you are high powered, we will be looking at you, watching you, to see what is going to happen. Are we together? Okay, so we must focus on efficiency and meeting deadlines. We always have deadlines, especially in private universities. When your students enter, they know when they are going to graduate. Isn't it? We don't run like, I came from OAU. In OAU, we've had situations because of fashion strike. People will say, Prof, isn't it? People will say, only God knows. Students, we know when we will resume, only God knows. There are There are problems in public institutions, but we can't run, private universities cannot run the way public institutions run. You cannot run like that. So when your students are coming in, they have an idea of when they are graduating. They even know their parents can track what is happening. So efficiency, deadlines, complying with calendars, manage. We can't run. I don't know why it happens with BC, but I know in our own university, we can't spend money anyhow. In fact, the way we track our budget, when people bring requests, at times when I ask questions, they ask me, are you a nurse? Or are you sure you are a nurse? All these questions you're asking about accounting, about whatever, and I tell them that, you know what, the moment that I want to be a nurse, I will be a nurse. I will step to that side. The moment I have an administrator, I will leave that place and come to that place. So when my colleagues from their faculty bring things, I will tell them that, okay, let's talk it as nurses. Say we are finished. Okay, let's leave it there. Now, let me speak with you as an administrator. This you cannot have because of this. This you can only have if this happens. This you cannot have because what is good for the goose is also good for the gander, isn't it? Then we can reach a compromise because you must achieve this and this and that. And they know when they are coming to ask for anything, you must bring your justification. Right? Because our budgets are not unlimited. And we don't have anybody giving us grants. There is no third fund. There is no anything that is coming anywhere. We must function within the money that we have. Right? So this is not a place where anybody can throw temper tantrum. And that's where it becomes a little easier for us when we start talking about compromise. Because transparency is there. Are we together? Okay? So, key elements we're talking about university management, human resource development, academic planning. I'm not going to waste my time on this because you have all the documents. But these key areas are important for us when we are looking at all the activities of the registry. If we're talking about human resource management, human resource development, starting from appointment, even when we want to appoint the VC, it is the registrar that will do the advert, isn't it? It is the registrar that is the secretary of council. It is the registrar that has all the statutes and all the whatever. Yes, every other person has been put into it. So, every time I call the registrar and I say, I need this, the registrar must be able to produce it. Right? So, as a record keeper, as a person that is also monitoring everything, the registry is very important. So, if we're talking about human resource development, you also know what's the total number that we have. We always have this feedback. How many people are resigning? How many people are coming in? What are the qualifications? Where do we have shortages? You must be able to provide. So every time I call as PC and I call the registrar and I said, by the way, the last appointment that we did, how many people did we employ? Which unit didn't we employ for? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm giving all these details because the successes that the Vice Chancellor will make come from how well you do your work. The decisions that we make at the very higher level, they come from how correct your statistics are. If I collect statistics from Registry, from Registry, from base, and I put everything together, and I begin to see contradictions, I will play back to you. Whatever number is coming in terms of staff from the registry must tally with what is coming from Registry. And if you are going to achieve all those, it means that even you yourself must be up and doing. Are we together? You must be up and doing. Not that you be working as silos, that you think you are just who you are. No, the success of one person is subject to the success of another person. Academic planning, because the university essentially is a knowledge building unit. Everything that you have to contribute, when we are going to be talking about accreditation, this and that, you still provide everything. Right? The preparation that registries always have to make when we have university accreditation, you are the ones that will have to bring all the records, what programs you have, how far it is, you start, and how do you mobilize, how do you recruit, how do you, what are the. So, you are very central to any of the 4 areas that we're talking about. I want to speak a little to student-centered services. And I think I started talking about that when I say we start from the point of first contact. When any student or parents come to the university, the first person they are likely to see is somebody that belongs to registry. And the reception that you give that person speaks to how they will take the university roles. So when we say that we must be running student-centered services, it's not about you. It's about how do I make my services? How do I make my services acceptable to anybody that is coming in? You can say no very nicely, and people will like the way you say no. Do you know that? Very nicely. And with a smile, you will still say your no. And very nicely, no, you will still say that. They will say that you will still say your no. That in any case, and then if there are other possibilities, you give other possibilities. So, student-centered services must have. Another element has to do with technology. I think you are best University of Technology, isn't it? So you must be speaking technology. You must speak technology. You must eat technology. You must speak technology. If you are coming in here, if you are not computer savvy, work on yourself. Wherever you are, you must be conscious of where the technology comes in my work. And don't wait until when the university will train you. Because every day, your position keeps evolving. It keeps evolving. And because we are also in a world of technology, there is no information you want that you won't get today. No. There is nothing you want to achieve that you can't get guides to achieving those things nowadays. So for you, I don't know of a University of History or a University of Transport, but because you are parents University of Technology, everybody here must be conscious of how can I effectively use technology to improve my performance as to enhance my productivity personally. And as groups, you almost always must have things that you're doing. It's in the past that people always think that it's only academics that do seminars and do things. In the 21st century, everybody must be meeting to have knowledge updates about how things are done and how it can be done better. We have many systems, many tools now that we can use to do everything. But significantly, like I said, in the 21st century, we must be taking data-driven decisions. And we already told you that we are the repertoire of all our data. So if we're going to be taking data-driven decisions, it means that our registry, our administrative staff must also ensure that their data, their knowledge of data, should be very high as to give us what we need. And so I said here, essentially we need staff capacity building in technology use from a personal point of view and from group point of view. Then the third point here has to do with collaboration, partnerships, and fundraising. These are also essential things that we must achieve as a university. And if we are even going to get a grant, the administrator who is part of the grant must do his or her part of the work. The bursary supposed to be managing the account of the research must be up and running. You can't. The faculty cannot do research alone. They can't make a success of using grants of collaboration without your being involved and being active and doing whatever you're supposed to do. Now the third topic, we will soon round up. I hope I'm not boring you. The third and most, and very important, let me say most, because without the two, we won't have a need for this, is the word compromise. Like I said when I was starting that compromise is not the way we always think it is when we hear, you are compromising us. Why are you compromising us? Especially in unions. I used to be very strong as you member. Prof, you really know. I used to be very strong as you member. And as a young academic, I always go to ASU meeting to go and learn. To place to learn how to think, how to critique, how to nicely tell a very senior person that what he or she is saying is no longer valid. It's a place to learn. However, there are times our positions may also be really compromising. Right? But now, compromise in our own sense is the bridge of progress. It's not the negative way we look at it. The only way we can achieve whatever we want to achieve is when to use compromise the way we should use it. And I say compromise through effective communication. It's not about society, it's not about presence, it's not about through effective communication, mutual acceptance of tasks, often involving the relations from an origin that brings all kinds of people in labor, your neighbors and university and art of your stakeholders, that you must reach some compromise with if you're going to make a success of what you have to achieve. So we have several people that are involved, and these different people have different priorities. Even you, as an individual, have your own priorities. You have your own ideas, you have your own priorities, you have what you want to do, you have what you want to do. And you have what the way you are thinking, I should be this and this, and I should be this and this. No, I want to do this. But we must come together in a way that the system will run. You also will achieve some of what you want to achieve, because your thoughts may be thought order. When you look at the things that we have to contend with as an institution, compromise in university governance is a strategic act of balancing competing interests to achieve collective progress. Do you get that? somebody took over your work while the other person also has some rights to also grow. And we together. So you will see that it's not as if you always refuse things without thinking through of this compromise that we're talking about. Again, the said compromise is the bridge of progress, and we have two types: the early compromise and the harmful compromise. Early compromise aligns with vision, right? It aligns with vision. On everyone and everyone, he knows integrity. That's what I'm in love with it. Anything that will bring your integrity down. Integrity is about you are truthful to who you say you are. You are honest at all times. You treat everybody equally. Not that you are giving somebody, you are treating one person as if that person is better than the other. Right? Integrity. The moment your integrity is compromised or is brought down, know that that compromise is negative. And I want you to focus on interests. What is our general interest as an institution? You say you want to go 3 hours to go for training at the same time. I'm going around the office. It's no longer about you, it's about our common interest. Then after we negotiate to say that, okay, you go and this time, you also can go. And the same thing applies when you talk to people about plan your leave. Isn't it? Plan your leave. You don't want anybody breaking down. But you must plan your leave in such a way that the system will be efficiently covered. And if you are so sensitive, we will tell you that don't switch off your phone. Don't tell me that there is time to go on leave and you go and you call your reality. It's not possible. Your comment to this decision that you want to take. But I don't think your leave is about ensuring that our system runs. Not that you say because no one can leave. That's why the system was closed down. And so we must always be in agreement in terms of how will our personal interest not be at variance with the interest of getting the institution to keep going. We focus on interest, not positions to pay values for all parties. Early and harmful promises, I just provided some information about what are early compromises and what are harmful, giving examples of things that are relevant to us as a university. Essentially, and here I emphasize that compromise and follow ethical leadership and transparency. Those are the core things if you are talking about compromise in governance. Ethics. Ethics. What is right? Not about this person is my family or is my friend. It's about trust. Being just, being fair, and about giving leadership. I'm willing to give my time off to allow a younger person to do some things, so that that person can learn that being a role model is also doing some sacrifices. And it's about transparency. It's about giving you information. Hey, I want to do this. At times when I tell my colleagues that we must not be paying because our salary. So people don't, and when you ask for something, I say they will have money. Because there is nothing eating anywhere. There's nothing eating anywhere. Transparency. So people know that you're transparent in whatever decisions, and you can justify and explain, it becomes a little easier. Compromise, for example, in ethical leadership and transparency to maintain credibility. Leaders should openly communicate the rationale of compromises. People must know what we're taking in decisions that we're taking. Ensuring that stakeholders understand the trade-off you know what you yourself can understand why you are trading one thing off for the other in the interest of everybody and the organization. Now, if you now look at the three, marrying the three together, because now they have become husband and wife, and everybody there. The trial of mission management and compromise comes in dynamic behavior. And you see that you see that the three words that came together as a framework. Vision directs, self-direction inspires action, management implements through systems, through resources, and compromise ensures harmony. You can bring these together with this, and using compromise, you can work out, this is what we want to achieve, this is how we are going to achieve it, these are things we will need, this one we will leave out for now, this one we will do for now, based on our priorities. The three are interdependent, vision guides management, and informs governance. That's a simple logic of bringing the three together. The vision guides management and also inform what the compromise should be. Management operationalizes vision and works with supporting compromise. Compromise sustains vision and enhances management. The three must work together at every point in time, at any point in time, for all of us to be comfortable. In conclusion, your university, my university, every university is a change and complex organization. Remember, we are building the future. You are building even for a future that you don't know what it will look like. But the ones that are building must be sufficiently robust to manage the future that you don't even know how it's going to evolve. So it's a complex organization that brings diverse stakeholders with different motives, different interests, yet we are expected to build a great future. So we are building for what we may not be alive to see how they evolve. We must work together using this type of vision to provide direction, management to implement well-mapped actions, and compromise to ensure sustainability of harmony. And like I said, the vision was provide direction. A compelling vision sets the strategic agenda, inspires faculty and other staff, inspires students and all partners and there. The management must drive the implementation of several things that needs to be done to achieve the vision that we have set to achieve. And the compromise must be bridges that ensure that conflicts are negotiated and managed, and also ensure that our vision can actually sustain longevity and can bear the test of time. And when we balance these demands, when we look at staff welfare versus budget and the constraints, leaders must maintain harmony. These three pillars are not mutually exclusive. They are interdependent. You can run one without the other. The three must be working together. And you see the four people with different colors, right? Different genders, but everybody must put this jigsaw together to give us this beautiful future of the university administration. An effective university administration demands that leaders must be visionary architects, they must be pragmatic executors, at the same time must be compassionate. But compassionate, you can look at everybody and ensure that nobody actually is left out. Everybody's needs are considered when you have to take the decision. A bold vision, strategic management, and a empathetic compromise are the reason for trying universities. Thank you.
This is the academic together. And when we have what and then how many of us were listening to her? Please let's put us together again for her. I think it is say that she did more than justice to the topic of the lecture. Am I correct? And I would like to thank you for delivering not only a registry lecture, but you ended up delivering a university-wide lecture. And I think over time it has been the beauty of the registry lecture. The 8th lecture we had, it was also a very beautiful one where we had Excellency who actually drilled us last year. And this year, the organizing team did a very good job to bring a vice chancellor. Please let's put our hands together again for that serious achievement. I want to believe that we were all jotting something down, and in one way or the other we will have questions to ask. Personally, I was looking at the vice chancellor. He was not only writing, he was snapping. So I know that he has either a question to ask or something to ask. And I know we will get to that point. So, but I would like to request that if we have any question, let's just signify. I would like to take 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, please, I would like that we just try to make ourselves different from everyone so that we don't get it all crowded. So that we can take the first question, please. Okay, let me just follow the question first. Question, please. Please let's put our hands together for you. But there is something very interesting that I actually observed in the lecture. The lecture was very, very simple. This lecture came in simple terms for everyone to understand. So I want to believe that the questions that will be raised will be simple questions.
Thank you very much. Actually, I'm number 2, but you made me number 1. Maybe to help the cast. The Vice Chancellor at Chivas University, let me address you as Excellency. You spoke like the field commander, not just office commander. So thank you very much. I was thinking that the University of the Future, those were actually at the conclusion of your speech or your lecture, you maybe were trying to just package everything together, not to give us a recommendation. So you left that to us, and we are
bringing out some recommendations. Thank you very much. Number one, the university of the future. How well are we preparing for it? Because the buildings we see now will not exist again in the future. And some of the universities are coming up now. At least we have 2 in Nigeria. But we have been following them, and we see that while lecturers are prepared to teach, the administrative structure is not yet strong. Where they say you do everything online, at the end they still say people should come to the university to come and submit. We expect that it should just be each free, and then you continue. And then in some universities that are also saying they have migrated, they still call people to come and submit forms physically. So how do we work at achieving this? Then the second question, or the second, not question, the second recommendation is that we begin to do digitization or digitalization of documents now. Because in the nearest future, no matter how hard we struggle, paper will not be able to do it. Because Generation Z is going off the stage. It is the Alpha generation. And somebody said the Alpha generation will not go to school. The school will come to meet them. So it is better we need to prepare and all that. Thank you very much.
So just realize again for you. I like that.
Thank you. So, after the from what the first person said, Your Excellency, I want to really say thank you for this, because it is something very strong in me, and that's the vision thing, the person vision about me and individual. And so, as a student-centered person, I took down this. We talked about being compassionate. And then, in being compassionate, compromise comes in. So I want to know, how can the university ensure that compromise made in disciplinary or academic decisions do not weaken the integrity of the institution's vision? Should I get it again? Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Lee, please.
Thank you so much, Prof. I really picked quite a lot from what was launched. I thought I knew, but my name is Mr. Luke. So much was said about the vision. Each time she goes forth, she still comes back to that vision junction. And I believe that's actually the main drive. If actually I'm at a particular corner, I should look up, and that vision should be what should propel me as a staff beyond being an administrative staff. My question now is, you also spoke about the operations, the compromise aligning with the vision. Fine. Also, that compromise is not a sacrifice, but it strikes a balance. And the focus should be on common interests, which I call that vision. My question is this: how do we now effectively cascade this vision or break it down to common terms? Because I believe it's so huge, but it has to be broken down across board in all colleges, departments, units, so that it makes it easy for an average person to find out where he fits and also be able to contribute to his quota. How? Secondly, how can individuals how can we measure individual and collective success in terms of results being achieved if there are no specified targets per time. Because I believe that vision is actually the main goal. There are missions. And then there are short-term kind of corresponding approach to achieving that. Probably in a particular session, this goes beyond just being an administrator. But in a particular session, it goes beyond that. There are timely goals to achieve. How do we know all this in order to key in and also measure it so well that even the little person, so to say, contributing can also feel part of the team? Thank you.
Right,
Good afternoon. I stand on the simple. I don't have a question per se, but I want to say I must have to express my admiration and the lecturer and the guest lecturer for this wonderful lecture she presented. I was like, if she could do this in management, I wonder what she would have done in medical or health sciences. Please, thank you so much. I also want to appreciate the registry of this group for coming up with this particular topic. But this lecture is not necessarily for the registry, it's for all of us. It's a wonderful topic, well delivered, because those of us in management, when we teach our students vision, mission, objective, goals, first thing I used to tell my students is, what is your own personality? Does it align for undergraduates as does it align with the university vision? For those early on postgraduate students, where do you want? And we hear your vision, does your personal vision align to it? So this is a wonderful one. So those of us, when I came to Greenwich University, I saw the vision to be a world-class university that is committed to development and innovation of the society through environmental technology and so on. So from day one, I started to know that to key to this vision, to align with this vision, I have to improve my technology. I have to work towards being a renowned lecturer. So the same way those of us who are secretaries, we should want to be a renowned secretary. So I'm so grateful for the message. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mark. I want to appreciate the registrar. I don't know how you go and fetch this type of people. Last year you brought Elamuso Yoruba, and today you brought an Emeritus Scholar. Thank you very much. When I was younger, if you want to tease ourselves, if you do something good, you say you are wonderful. If you now do it better, you say you are too wonderful. You are too wonderful. It's on this technology of the field. It has its positive and its negative impact. The Gen Z age, in as much as we want to keep to them, in Belgium, they have tried to stop them from using phone and then go back to the normal business because they find a lot of distractions. And then we are talking about online teaching. Somebody wanted admission, so I called somebody that, please, I have somebody that has need for online admission into a particular institution. He told me that even they are involved in online teaching, there is not, does not even pray for his enemy to be involved in online. And then I said, why? He said, most of them don't do well. I said, wow. Then the Gen Z age. They get involved in this, whatever they used to hold to their ears. And I watched a video. The man was with his ears blocked, either listening to music or whatever, and train almost crushed him. Technology. Another one. A buffalo, I don't know what that thing was, a zoo. A buffalo came out and debt, Gen Z age. What do we do to balance this up? Because even when you're in the class with them, you are online with them. Some have drifted away completely from what you are teaching them. So how do we balance it up, Ma? Thank you.
Let me start from the last speaker. Oh, thank you. I disagree with you that teaching online yes, you cannot use one method to achieve what the world wants to achieve. Our own methods can never work again. And we must think into the new ways of the world. And you know one thing that we must also begin to learn in Nigeria, because of the way people that we think we are following always do their things. We must also begin to do that. When they start anything new, they build in monitoring and evaluation. They build in research into it, so that they keep watching to say, as we move, what do we need to change? What do we need to modify? Which one do we need to remove? Which one do we need to add? You know, the way the world suddenly, the way the world was forcefully moved, the way we all moved to going online was because of the pandemic. Whereas people have been using technology, appreciating the fact that you can no longer use the face-to-face classroom lecture notes that the people were given to groom people for the future. That our own method do not work, and it will not work. And let me tell you the challenge that many of us, I teach online, and over the years, I have learned that you must be learning to understand who you are trying to build. You must understand who they are. And you also must understand what they are meant to be doing. The young people of nowadays are not people that are who we are, where we just, you read and you put everything in your brain. They are doing people. They learn by doing. In my university for 2 years, I've asked to fight my colleagues about developing our course syllabus. Because our course outline that we used to use is no longer usable. If you look at CC Mass, you will see that CC Mass has information about what are the 21st century skills that graduates must have. If you want Gen Z and Gen Alpha that are coming to learn anything from you, you will have to think through who they are and how you can get them to learn what you want them to learn. It's not about reading notes and sending these huge things to them to read. If they are going to read, it is the nature of what you ask them to do that will make them do the reading. And if you are not somebody that also has skills in getting people to going to be able to efficiently use AI as a lecturer. So now, before you even teach a topic, even you yourself, before you think a topic, you need to, unlike before, where what you have to do is take these textbooks, look at all the knowledge they do said, and that said, whatever said, right? And package them and write notes and notes and notes and notes. You can't get the new young people to learn like that. Because they are not made to learn like that. They were born into technology, and that's why their life is about technology. So if you must get them to learn, you must be able to use what is their nature to get them to learn. I agree with you that we must bring, whichever way we want to do it, we must bring reading back. Right? We must bring reading back, whichever way they want to do it. Because our young people they can't communicate, they can't write. They cannot write well. Because they are now used to all these slogans, you are, you is you, not why you. You are here. It will be you, we must bring the culture of reading to build their vocabulary. But in terms of wanting them to learn for the future, you can't get them to learn by giving them notes. You must get them to learn from their realities. If I want to teach time management to adolescents now like before, now I will need to get to them and bring a clock and give it to them and say, let's see what you can do with that. Right? So I'm not the one teaching them. I know what I want them to learn. But I cannot use the method that my teacher used to teach me to teach them. In fact, when I'm going to come, I have to come with different types of clock. Because many of them may not have seen the clock that I would have wanted to use. I will need to go online to go and look at what are the different models of clocks that are available and bring the one that they will recognize and ask them, what does this mean to you? What can you get to do with it? And they are the ones that, in fact, they went up teaching you more than what you can imagine. And you will then need to help them, let them to tease out those important things that you want them to learn. And we can, many of us lecturers will need to be trained on how to do those things. For every topic that you have to teach now, you have to sit down and think out of the box. How can I get these students, knowing who they are, to learn this? And if you are going to get them to learn it, you yourself must have learned the new tools that are available for teaching and learning. There are times that all you need to do is show a video, because you know that is what will get their attention. If you yourself do not know all those softwares that you can use to prepare your teaching, you are not going to get the video, you are not going to get the whatever. You will just be writing notes and notes and notes and notes. And you will write your note. All they need to do is just do the snapshots of all your notes, not even to write it. Because now they have a software that they can do snapshots and will convert that into Word document for them. And the way the word is going is, if you can do something simpler, why go behind you? Right? Are you listening, bro? So we must get into their way of thinking, their word of thinking, and see how do we modify our own teaching learning to get them what they have to do. And besides, we also know that they are in a competitive world. They are in a very competitive world. So exploit that to get them to achieve what you want them to achieve. So if you are going to be a successful person teaching the generations that we have now, you also must be somebody that is ready to think out of the box and use new approaches that speak to who they are. If you have not, as an administrator, as an academic, if you have not gone to read about Generation Z, please go and read about who they are and how they come to be. And but before Generation Z, read about the generations over the years. And you know, all these summaries are not based on, they are based on facts. They are based on observation of how we evolve. They are based on the environment and circumstances surrounding when people are born, how people are trained. And just like we're doing. The other time I said you are building for a future that you don't even know. Then you must build them in a way that they can keep into the future that even you don't know, that they don't know, by the kind of methods that you give to them now. The young people that we have now, they are not only a white person, but they are also individuals that want to do because they want to achieve success. So if you are somebody that is always wanting to do things for them, to give you results, you will always step on each other's toes. And if you are somebody that is always wanting to do things your own way, and you know as parents, that's where you first of all be stepping on each other's toes. You want them to do things the way you want it to their own way. Their own world now is you must be open. And you must discuss. We need to achieve this. You want to achieve this. They want their voices to be out. That is just who they are. And we can't force them back to our own generation. We will only need to learn their own ways of seeing things and kids, because their own children will even be more challenging to them beyond our own. But from the context of wanting them to read, we must also evolve ways of getting them to read. But like I said, one culture that we must learn in this part of the world is not to take everything that people are saying, without us also saying, are there things we must be monitoring? Shouldn't we be using what we are observing to modify some things as we speak? Yes, as we speak. Not all the young people are examining Generation Z. We still have some of them that are still the one. And you know you can have like 3-4 generations in class. So you are aware of that. You can have 3-4, and you must manage even the diversity in the class. So it's you as an administrator, as a faculty, that must go and be understand. That's why even you yourself cannot just think all you need to do is go to work, have to run an ordinary class. There is no ordinary class anywhere, any longer. Because the demands of who a clerk is now is different from the demands of who you were when you go. And when you go digital, we may end up not even having physical files. And even if you yourself do not build your own capacity, then you can transit to when they're moving from being paperful to becoming paperless. Before you know what is happening, AI will take your job from you. So that is where we want, and we must move with the way the world is moving. So that is the first thing, my first response to that. Then we must keep monitoring. When any new thing is brought to us, we should also be monitoring and we should be reporting. What are the consequences of this? Even the students that we are talking about. Oftentimes, we always insist, when you finish a class, ask them. They will tell you, this class, how has this class been useful to you? What are the things we could do better? You know, part of the challenges that we have, because of the way we were brought up, is also we are afraid of comments. Well, now thing that we see with them around for good. And it's to say that, nicely, I've seen your earphone has been, how have you been hearing what we are saying? And you will throw a question to that person that will let the person appreciate whether he or she is in class or not. And everybody will be this person. So we must be learning new methods, new ways of relating to the different generations that you have in class. And oftentimes I tell senior people, you must be working with younger people for us to have a balance. If you have a senior person who is analog, right? We can't throw the analog people out because they have this sound knowledge that you may not get in any textbook. But we must get them to work with younger people that are equally technology savvy for us to be able to achieve what we have to achieve. We must be working together. And you will see that even the so-called analog, the digital has made life much easier. You only need to learn little things. And when you relate with these younger people, your work will become easier. The PowerPoint that I use here, and it's one of the young people working with me. I just threw the record to him and I said, go and generate a PowerPoint for me. Exactly. So I gave it to him and I said, go and everybody around me now know that before you do everything, I will call all of you that I did it and I said, we need to do this. And I'll throw it to you. Go and work on it and bring your proposal. And you come and defend. And when you do that, you will now say, okay, what you brought, I will now say, this one cannot work, this one is wrong, this is that, because of that. Right? And oftentimes I call them, please come and teach me. My phone, at times when it's misbehaving, I know who to call and say, you know this phone, I took cooperative loan to buy the phone. I took cooperative loan to buy the phone. But I need to do some things and I don't know what. And you will have to, whatever you want to do, you will do it, you will sit me down. I may not remember in 15 minutes. But the fact that I called that person to come and teach me, it's like I'm coming from the business office. So you must know how to use them to achieve your motive. Even the classes that you're talking about, you use them to do most of the teaching. Because what you don't have access to, they have access to them from the way they navigate everything. Then you must also make them feel important. To say that I know you can do it, I know we can do this together, we need to involve. And when you share the way things were with them, to say that this is the way we used to learn this best, now things are better. They are more happy to become part of people thinking they are teaching you. Right? So, this is the way I think we need to start responding to this without us thinking that we don't have a choice. We can't go back. They can only go forward. So we must be reversing our methods and working with them. So the negative side of technology, we must always look at how do we remove the negative side. But how do we optimize the positive side? And one way of optimizing the positive side is also to be briefing the negative side to people. We don't do that a lot in this country. Somebody just shared with me overnight what he's thinking about people that are working with ICT. There are things that all of us are just using ICT, with varied intensity. But nobody is actually monitoring what are the consequences of the technology that we're using, how intense is your relationship, your contact, your things like that. Nobody is monitoring it. And I told that person that it's in Nigeria that we don't monitor everything. In other parts of the world, they will have a way of monitoring the people, anybody that has access to a desktop, that has to use his desktop for some hours. They'll keep monitoring. And they keep telling you to go and do your eye check. There are many things. And that's why we must be getting educated. Don't wait for anybody to tell you to check yourself up. Look at what you're doing currently. Look at the hazards. Look at what you have to do to correct from the hazards, so that we should be more literate-oriented about everything. Now, measuring individual successes. I think I'm going to put question 4 and question 5 together. That's for Mr. Lee. Is that Mr. Lee? Oh, okay. I really like the way you asked your question. But I'm going to throw the question back to you. You know when I said you must have your own personal vision, right? What you are going to be able to achieve in an organization start from what you try to achieve with yourself. When you have a vision, you must always have what we call strategic planning. And your strategic planning must be at all levels. In fact, the final strategic planning of a university starts from the individual strategic planning that you pull together as units to generate your strategic planning from your unit that will go to the next one, and get the strategic planning of everybody to keep into the main strategic planning. For example, at in registry we have personnel, isn't it? We have personnel unit or the human resource unit. Your human resource unit must have your own vision, must have your own mission, and you must have your own strategic plan that speaks to the daily activities of what is going on in your unit. Right? As you say that in this unit, this is what we want to achieve. Right? This is what we want to achieve. We want to achieve this. If we are supposed to, you look at what are the things you are supposed to be doing as a unit and speak to it. This is what, how are we going to achieve this the best way? And everybody will have to say, we need to do this, we have to do this. And you put all those things down, right? Because the university is achieving its own vision. Derives from the extent to which you are able to achieve your own vision and mission as a small unit. And it is not the VC that is going to map out how that your unit will do all its detailed activities to achieve what you want to achieve. For example, the other time I said, if I ask for statistics from any unit that is supposed to be able to give me correct statistics, I expect your statistics to speak to themselves, and I should get the same report. Not that I will get one report from human resource, I will get a different one from industry. So the question is, how do we ensure that the data that is coming from our unit always provides correct information? You know, that's a simple question. Is your unit that will provide answers to that, not the VC's office, not even the registry's office? When you now detail out those activities, you will now ask yourself, how do we want to achieve this? And that's where people will say that at the beginning of every year, you want to look at your achievements in the previous year. You want to look at where do we have gaps, where do we make mistakes. So appraisal at every unit must be done at every level. Don't wait for until when the universities, and you must do it with the motive of achieving improvement in your performance. Right? An improvement at the performance level for everybody will translate to improvement for the university. Do you get it? And the reason why I said your own vision must keep into the vision of your unit. we don't have these skills. If we're going to be able to do this, you must be able to, all of us must have these skills. And then that will give you an idea of, I have a gap, and I must look for a way of meeting this gap. Is it something I want to meet personally, or we want to meet as a group? But it must start from personal. Because if personally you are not willing to improve yourself, you are not willing to give the time it takes to say that now I have a gap in my skill. If you do not recognize the gap in yourself, you will always be blaming other people for not making progress. When actually, even you yourself, you are not doing enough to improve your own approach and your performance. Does that make sense? So, everybody, you must go back and say, where are we now, currently? Where should we be? Where do we want to be? And you will take people from every, you will ask people that you are other people that you are working with. Where do you currently have deficiency in meeting your needs? They will give you. Asking people questions about how you're doing is not necessarily negative all the time. There are things you need to map out plans to improve what you do. Are we together? So instead of you when you point fingers, so that people will say that when you point one finger to people, what happens? The other four are really pointing to you. So solving any problem and every problem starts with you. What are the current tasks with you? Right? Whichever way you look at it. Because when you do like this, it is one of multiple that you are. So you must first of all look at yourself. What are the gaps that are currently there? Do I fit into where I am? If I don't fit in, what are the problems? Do I also belong where I think I want to belong as part of my vision? Otherwise, if you do not see yourself as part of where you belong, it means that you must do something else to take yourself out of the place instead of becoming the liability for such a place. I think I've been able to answer that question. Yes, student-centered person. How do we become compassionate and compromise without negative consequences to the university? You know what? The reason why I talked about ethics when I was talking about compromise has to do with compromise is not equal to you allow something that is less than your standard. And if you read my submission, I gave an example of parents who put pressure on you. They want their children who do not qualify for some programs, but they want them to come in for that program. Me, I always said to do that. There is no problem now. There's always a way of removing shafts from whatever. Right? There's a minimum that you cannot go below. Your laws will have established that. And the first thing that will ensure that you do not allow your compromise to bring negative consequences for you is that you must communicate your laws, your regulations, and everything to everybody. Before you start discussing anything with me, I want my child to do medicine, and I want my child to do, first of all, tell you that the basic requirements for anybody to do this are this, that are not negotiable. If you want your child to do medicine, and our criteria says that to do medicine, you must have five credits at this level, including all this. Number one, your child must fulfill that. Number two, your child should not be lower than this. Your child must fulfill that. We have all these things that we have written out as our rules. Your child must fulfill all those things. Now let me tell you another caveat. over the years, what we have learned to contain parents and knowledge, we look at what is the CGPA that will help us achieve what we want to achieve. No matter, you won't admit to know our basic standard. But for you to do any program, you must meet the basic requirements of doing that program. That is not my business. If your child cannot meet up with that, there is nothing you can do about it. We can help your child to go and do something else. If your child has a gap, we can say, let's sit down and see what and what can we do to help meet up with the gap. Right? But that we will compromise our standards. We will do. We will not. So you must communicate the rules and regulations. You also, the sad about compromise, positive compromise, is to say that people human beings and we think are not educated. They end up becoming, many of the people that are our governors today, they are not the best in their classes. Many of the best people that are doing well in the entrepreneurship, they are not the best of the world. So I always tell people that don't write any child away. No matter the level, think right, how can you, what do you need to do? What can you do to help that child to improve, to be able to do something? Right? But the idea of you must do, because many parents are also ignorant. Children have different wishes in their life. They have different things they want to do. And I've had some of our students that will graduate, their parents force them to go and do medicine. When they finish the medicine, they will take the stethoscope and say, I've done your medicine. I've done your medicine that you want me to do. This is it. But now, I think I want to do what I want to do. And I've seen some of them that will go into dramatic arts. People that will go into other things, that is their passion. And they make money out of it. So we need to be communicating, we need to be giving information, we need to be sharing experiences. We also need both parents and their words to be talking. Many parents they don't even have the culture of communication. They don't communicate with their words, they don't communicate with their children. So oftentimes we are the ones that become the mediators to say that there must be a dialogue. It is in dialogue that you also can get young people to talk about what are their own frustrations, what are their wishes, what do they want to do, and how can they help them. So compromise does not mean that you must do wrong things, because ethics is about do what is right, do what is just, and do not go below your standard. I hope the person is still here. Right. Thank you. Yes. University of the future. That's why I said this lecture is very, very important to you and I. Because even what we have today is not yet what where we're supposed to be. And if many of us do not live up to higher levels, AI will take you out of job. The way we're talking, if all universities decide to automate, many of us will be out of job. We may not recognize it, but if we automate the way we should automate, we won't need an admission officer. All these whatever. In 1997, I was in a university where the only person that is in the faculty is the faculty secretary. No clerk, no whatever, no anything. Right, because all their communication have been digitalized. All the things that the secretary does, if you need to give anything to anybody, you drop it. There's a place where you drop whatever you have to drop. And the secretary will make sure that people have what they have to virtually. I did a master's in the UK in 1970 something. Before I left Nigeria, I already had all my courses and everything, all the reading materials and whatever. The first meeting I had with one of the lecturers, that was where we discussed everything. And you, as a master's student, nobody is going to be coming to teach you the way we teach undergrad. They already discussed the course that first day, and we agreed on who among us wants to look at the different aspects, because that person already provided detailed information about, for this unit, you need to read this and this and this and this. Check out this and this and this. These are the skills we expect you to acquire from this unit. These are the ways, and that's the way we have to go now to get many of our students to actually want to learn with us. So if we want to look, I'm done. If we want to move to the university of the future, it means that all of us must be preparing. If you can Google, you can go to there and say, give me information about the university of the future. It will give you more than enough information, and you now look at yourself. How do I fit into this? Am I going to be part of preparing for this future that we're talking about? What are the plans that I have? And what will be? And as an institution, we also must be dialogue about being fit for the future is something that we must begin on it, so that our structure will continue to evolve over time. In a short while, you may not need any classroom here any longer. But if you don't need classroom, you will need other things. Because your video conferencing unit should be such that you can take your students, and they are not physically in your class, but you can see everybody where they are seated, wherever they are teaching, in their bedroom, in their whatever. They will see the interactive. You will see the one that will carry them into whatever that is still talking in class. If that is what the future is saying, we almost will get ready for that. Thank you.
Please let's keep clapping for. In a way, I want to say that the lecture and the responses to some of our questions has been able to address some personal misunderstanding and misorientation that some of us have. Am I correct? Thank you very much. And going by the program, before we have the presentation of the plaque and gifts, I'd like to do the council of the lecture. I'd like to say this is, the name was given to me, or some names were given to me, and I like to call the names. Here I have Ibile, and the name that attached to that Ibile, please clap for this person, is Mr. Ademola Agiri. And the reason is because anywhere you see him, you know what is synonymous to his Nigeria. So please clap for him again. Then here I have most friendly, and the name attached to most friendly is Mr. Alex Saruno. Is that correct? Do we know him? Please let's clap for him. Let's clap for him. Please permit me to laugh or smile. Here I have charcoal. Doo-doo. And the name attached to it is Hakim Adiyemi. Am I correct? Okay. Alright, then I have here most talented. However, we have so many talented registry staff, but we just say is most talented. And the name here is Mr. Mustafa Abiodun. Let's clap for him. Now we have so many elegant mummies and ladies, but the committee that worked on this list is not me. They decided to pick Dr. Felicia Yusuf as most elegant. Please clap for her. Actually, I think the committee tried to look round. Yes, she's a registry staff now. Now, they picked this name too. Mrs. Fumilayo in corners, and they put Petit in front. Is that correct? It's not me who. And they said Mr. Nice is Mr. Okoyemi Ofaramade. The committee also said that most modernly is Professor Okoko. And here, okay. Here, the committee said night crawler, Mr. Ademola Agiri. Alright, and they gave the most approachable to Mr. Adelowo. And most smiling face also still went to the Vice Chancellor. Alright, I would like to go by the program, and I'd like to invite the registrar, sir, Mr. Lamidi Estapa, to come and handle the presentation of plaque and gifts. Please let's put our hands together. Is it so hard to clap?
Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we once again give a round of applause to the guest speaker? You agree with me that she did not come here to lecture us, but to teach us. And she has efficiently and effectively taught us. And she has taught us three that as registrar, university staff, we should keep into the vision of the university, like follow our duties accordingly and doing our work as and when due. Two, management. We don't manage our individual offices by doing what is positive to the benefit of the university and compromise. Positive and negative compromise. Positive, you can compromise with anybody in as much as the extant rules and regulations are strictly adhered to. Negative compromise, it is when you push aside all the rules and regulations and then do whatever you want by mortgaging your own integrity. Let me tell you something. Sometimes a parent communicated to me, but just lost, that we needed a letter. We came to our office, the parent came to our office, that he needed a letter stating that the student has his own money in this university, has left the university to somewhere, whereas the student is still in the university. He needed that letter to pursue something for the child abroad. I said, but your child is still in the university. No, just need a letter, and I will do anything that I want. I said, but the person you are talking about, he's still in 400 level, he still has about a year to go. I said, you see, we are busy to say something that you understand what I'm saying? So he was saying that he was pressurizing me. If I wanted to compromise negatively, I would have picked my letterhead paper because nobody will have come type, sign it, and give it to me. I mortgage my interview. And I told him, if I give you this letter for your own work, for your own son, who is going to, which letter is going to benefit to the person? What is going to happen to my own children? He don't get quiet. He said, no, nothing is going to happen. I said, once we send our letters out, we normally send them for verification, attestation, to verify whether this letter really emanated from. I might have left this institution, and the letter may come, maybe the letter might come directly to the VC, and the VC will send it to the place of families, and they confirm that the student is still in the university. What have I done? I have compromised negatively, and I have gauged my own integrity. So that is it. So we have to be very, very careful. Then she said a very key word, particularly our staff that are in the various colleges, that the best advert of the university is our students. If you go to social media, go to television, go to all these and advertise, the best advert is our students. They tell each other whatever we do. So I used to tell my staff who are in the colleges, your relationship, your approach to parents, to prospective candidates is very, very important, very, very key. The parents can come, the way you approach the person, can decide to go to camp and then change the institution to another institution. So you have to know how to relate. Admission is around the corner. 2025, 2026 admission is around the corner. Please, those of us in the college should be able to please interact properly, positively with our prospective parents and our prospective students. Thank you. On this note, let me humbly invite our distinguished guest lecturer to please step forward. And I also invite the Vice Chancellor to step forward to present the plan.
Distinguished Mr. Gentlemen, on behalf of Bells University of Technology, my Registry Department, on this 9th Registry lecture titled Vision, Management and Compliance and Elixir for a successful university administrator represent this plan to our distinguished guest lecturer, Professor Omolola Olatunmi, Vice Chancellor, Texas University of Elixir. Thank you so much.
reversal.
The guest lecturer, all that was well and duly observed. But the Esther did very good closing remarks, and I'll just add a little to it. Thank you, guest lecturer, for a well put together paper and well presented. While you were speaking now, just few days ago, last week, on AI and negative impact of AI. So presented a very long address on the negative impacts of AI. And someone else came in and made just 3 sentences or so, and he nullified everything. And what did that person say? He said, you did how many of us use what God table? And then calculator came in, and there was this noise that the calculator was going to stop students from doing serious calculations. Did it happen that way? Calculator did not change much. It even progressed much further. We're able to do better. So AI has come in. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's only going to make us become better. Calculator did not change arithmetic and calculations. Did not diminish it, improve it. Then AI surely will do the same. Thank you also for telling us that our common interest here is the system, the university system. That should be our common interest. Whatever I'm doing, let your goal be the university. And I say that often. In that point, I think we need to notice that it was very, very consistent. Be consistent. We said it. What is good for the is good for the gathering. So once again, let me thank you very much for. It's a workshop, not a lecture. It's a workshop for everyone. Thank you so much. God bless you and keep you. Now, as you go, I tell you this story that you must always look back. Please look back. Go back to anything, or those are open for you. Thank you very much. And to the audience, thank you for being such a wonderful audience. If there are no questions, I will be surprised. Thank you for asking salient questions, deep questions that situated the lecture here in Delft. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. The next on our agenda is vote of thanks. That will be taken by Mr. Ademola. But before that, I was given some lists again to call out some people. Number one on my list is most reserved, and the name there is Dr. Nkechi Ozurumba. And we have the mulattoes in the registry. We have Mrs. Raji, Motore Abiwale, Mrs. Catherine, Mrs. Oladejo, and Mrs. Tosin Aziz. And also we have the most protocol-oriented in the registry, and that goes to our able registrar, Mr. Sumonti. And also we have the last on the list, which is not the last, it's not the least, the most prudent. And that person is no other person than able Bosra, Mr. Shino Omotayo. Please let us clap for him, even in absentia. And I have to call Mr. Ademola Eric for votes of thanks. Thank you.
say thank you very much to my host, Vice Chancellor, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Vice Chancellor, in absentia, my boss, the Registrar, the boss, the Investor, the University Management team. It's been so nice working. Thank you very much, sir, and Masters and Mass. And everyone here, I'd like to say a very big thank you for celebrating today with us. We appreciate you as a people of this very much. Our guest lecturer now, when we went to the university, we had this thing for some lecturers, especially when it comes to examinations. Well, I was in the art, and I wonder how we come up with the kind of questions it says. Because some questions will have children and grandchildren. So you have question 1, question 2, question 2A, question 2A, part 1, 2A, 2. By the time you get there, there's no confusion, there's no know what to write. So I have an assignment for you now. It's going to be one assignment for A and B. Okay, please can you help us that one? Thank you very much. Please. It's not one assignment, but it's assignment A. No, one assignment, 1A and 1B. Thank you. We would like you to help us in this name just there.
On the mandate of you have been directed. Is it not an assignment for me? Assignment 1A. Okay? On the mandate of Association of Nigerian Universities Professional Administrators, Best Tech Chapter, OTA, in conjunction with the Registry Department, Best University of Technology, OTA, Ogun State in Nigeria, I have been directed to give this award to appreciate Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ogede.
Well, what's a better way to say thank you to everybody, especially to the two of them for the roles they have played. And we sincerely hope. Then I must appreciate those of us those of you who supported us. We deeply appreciate and pray that good Lord will replenish your pockets and bless you tremendously. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Yeah, it's about time we are winding down the ninth registers for 2025.
Yes.
But before we wind down, I have just two names to call. And the first one is the most, the koi.
I said Miss Kokoka, Miss Koi of Registry.
And the next is Mrs.
Okonola
Adebi.
Adebi.
Do we all have that?
Yeah, please, Kokoka.
So now let us be upstanding as we bring the program to a close. We are going to call Mr. Additional Adebi for the closing prayer.
Oh, sorry, please.
Mr. Additional Adebi, please.
Also, we thank Almighty Allah for yet another successful outing this year. We thank God for the life of the management of the university and the entire university community. We pray for the best lecturer to have a safe trip back to our destination. I mean, it's not like
Please, before we take the anthems, let's take note of this order of photographs. The guest lecturer with management and everybody. The guest lecturer with management and everybody. The guest lecturer with the Vice Chancellor, Deans and Directors. The guest lecturer with Vice Chancellor and invited guests. The guest lecturer with the Vice Chancellor, Registrar and Anupa Chair. Guest lecturer with Vice Chancellor, Registrar and LOC. Guest lecturer with Registrar, with VC and management only. Please let's take note of this order so that we can stay around to feature in the same photograph sessions. Thank you. Now we can take the anthems. Consoles.